Contemporary. Existing, or occurring at the same time. Concurrent. Coexisting. Simultaneous. We have been experiencing new trends and cultures in our contemporary society. Underprivileged. Lacking essential things for a comfortable life. Impoverished. Deprived. Destitute. Many affluent people in this community come from underprivileged backgrounds. Reminiscent. Awakening memories of something similar. Indicative. Evocative. Nostalgic. It is known that the simple blue cornflower is reminiscent of summer meadows. Timely. Happening at the best possible moment. Appropriate. Seasonable. Auspicious. The incident served as a timely reminder of how dangerous our environment can be. Skeptical. Doubting that something is true or useful. Suspicious. Doubtful. Distrustful. They are skeptical about how much will be accomplished by new legislation. Vivid. Producing powerful feelings, or clear images. Realistic. Lifelike. Graphic. The artist was known for his vivid paintings that were distinguished by their colors. Far-fetched. Difficult to believe and unlikely to be true. Unrealistic. Unlikely. Questionable. The alien story published in the newspaper seems to be far-fetched and unreal. Witty. Using words in a clever and funny way. Humorous. Fanciful. Sharp-witted. She made jokes at the teachers and had witty comments that were a little saucy. Reasonable. Behaving in a sensible and fair way. Adequate. Satisfactory. Decent. The beauty company sells a wide range of cosmetics at a very reasonable price. Absurd. Ridiculous, or completely unreasonable. Foolish. Irrational. Laughable. It is absurd to cut taxes without offering another way to raise money. Sanguine. Positive and hoping for good things. Optimistic. Upbeat. Promising. Although the economy is looking better, we should not be too sanguine about the future. Intrigued. Arouse the curiosity or interest in something. Captivated. Absorbed. Inquisitive. When I studied weaving, I became intrigued with natural dyes and coloring. Vulnerable. Susceptible to being attacked or damaged. Unprotected. Helpless. Exposed. Autistic people are particularly vulnerable members of our society. Superficial. Concerned only with what is obvious or apparent. Perfunctory. Shallow. Sketchy. Despite their superficial similarities, the two sisters are in fact very different. Samba. A feeling of great sadness. Bleak. Depressing. Miserable. Losing the final match, the whole team was samba for many days. Whimsical. Spontaneously fanciful or playful. Outlandish. Eccentric. Capricious. It would be more rewarding and fulfilling if we have a whimsical attitude toward life. Definitive. Considered to be the best of its type. Perfect. Ultimate. Most reliable. There are no definitive solutions to this problem of environmental damage. Robust. Exhibiting strength, or vigorous health. Sturdy, durable, long-lasting. The company is able to generate stronger sales with robust profit margins. Dogmatic, asserting opinions in an arrogant manner. Adamant, prejudiced, one-sided. There is a danger of becoming too dogmatic about teaching religion. Bewildered, completely puzzled or confused. Baffled, speechless, or struck. We have been bewildered by the advancement in information technology. Seductive, having alluring or tempting qualities. Alluring, tantalizing, tempting. Advertising agencies use seductive images to get more attention from consumers. Ambivalent, having mixed feelings about something. Indecisive, uncertain, hesitant. He retained an ambivalent attitude toward the church throughout his long life. Solemn, very serious or formal in manner. Serious, profound, big deal. All affiliates had to swear a solemn oath never to disclose the secrets of the company. Laudatory, expressing praise or admiration. Admiring, complimentary, extolling. The laudatory announcement praised the team's efforts during the final contest. Audacious, showing a willingness to take risks. Daring, courageous, fearless. Their audacious goal is to compete with the luxury cars of other manufacturers. Provocative, intended to annoy or upset people. Instigative, annoying, irritating. In a deliberately provocative speech, they criticized the whole system of the economy. Wrathful. Full of, or marked by extreme anger. Furious. Ill-tempered. Indignant. In the Bible, we observe the wrathful and furious destruction of past civilizations. Reticent. Unwilling to speak about thoughts or feelings. Reserved. Taciturn. Introverted. At first, she was reticent, but later she relaxed and was more forthcoming for discussion. Exponential. Growing, or increasing very rapidly. Rampant. Expanding. Flourishing. There has been an exponential increase in the world population this century. Splendid. Very impressive and beautiful. Magnificent. Dazzling. Lavish. On Christmas Eve, the fireworks looked very splendid against the dark sky. Euphoric. Feelings of generating intense happiness. Overjoyed. Exhilarated. Elated. Scientists are euphoric at the potential success of genetic engineering on humans. Poignant. Having a very sharp feeling of sadness. Moving. Heartbreaking. Touching. The photograph awakens poignant memories of my painful days in the past. Malicious. Showing a desire to cause harm to someone. Pernicious. Spiteful. Resentful. Recent incidents have demonstrated that malicious hackers are still active online. Introspective. Examination of one's thoughts and feelings. Meditative. Thoughtful. Reflective. The singer is famous for her introspective songs about failed relationships. Ambiguous. Having more than one possible meaning. confusing, uncertain, double-edged. This agreement is very ambiguous and open to various suggestions and interpretations. Derogatory. Showing a critical or disrespectful attitude. Contemptuous. Abusive. Insulting. The disagreement contained a number of derogatory racial remarks and hate speech. Authentic. Something real or genuine. Original. Genuine. Legitimate. The visitor to the museum can enjoy a medieval banquet in an authentic setting. Elegant. Graceful and stylish in appearance or manner. Sophisticated. Polished. Artistic. We have never experienced such an elegant beach before I went to Hawaii. Fervent. Having, or displaying a passionate intensity. Passionate. Vehement. Intense. Most successful people are fervent supporters of self-determination. Esoteric. Having an inner or secret meaning. Enigmatic. Cryptic. Obscure. Its esoteric meaning is in the domain of the academic rather than the layman. Glorious. When something is fabulous or wonderful. Majestic. Grandiose. Grand. The newspaper article described the battle as a glorious victory for the nation. Exuberant. Feeling really happy and enthusiastic. Exhilarated. Cheerful. Full of life. Her poems, novels, and comedies are full of wit and exuberant vitality. Sardonic. Being scornful and mocking in a humorous way. Sarcastic. Ironical. Mocking. People usually make sardonic remarks or cynical observations about their past failures. Insipid. Not having a strong taste or character. Boring. Characterless. Monotonous. Please do not be an insipid speaker who makes the audience fall asleep. Cliché. A phrase or expression that has been used so often. Commonplace. Banality. Saying. My favorite saying of all time is a bit of a cliché: what goes around comes around. Perceptible. Capable of being noticed and recognizable. Discernible. Apparent. Detectable. The past few years have seen a perceptible improvement in working standards. Miraculous. Very wonderful, or amazing, like a miracle. Magical. Astounding. Phenomenal. It was a completely miraculous victory over a much stronger enemy. Colloquial. Associated with familiar and informal conversation. Unofficial. Casual. Conversational. It's challenging to understand the colloquial idioms of a foreign language. Repulsive. Extremely unpleasant, or unacceptable. Distasteful. Repellent. Awful. The repulsive smell of the dead animals made the total atmosphere unpleasant. Tranquil. Quiet and free from disturbance. Soothing. Serene. Pleasing. The relationship between the two counties had become tranquil after a very upsetting period. Abnormal. Deviating from the normal or average. Exceptional. Unusual. Extraordinary. Astronauts have identified some abnormal phenomena in outer space. Excruciating. causing great pain or anguish. Agonizing, tormenting, dreadful. Witnesses described to the police the brutal racial attack in excruciating detail. Ludicrous, causing laughter because of absurdity. Nonsensical, silly, outlandish. The ludicrous movie is about a fox that becomes the president of a country. Delicate, easily damaged, or requires careful handling. Dainty, exquisite, graceful. The rapid growth of urbanization has harmed our delicate ecological balance. Dexterous, any skillful or clever physical movement. Proficient, skillful, professional. It is true that as people grow older, they generally become less dexterous. Petrified, so frightened that one is unable to move. Terrified, frightened, horror-stricken. The girl was absolutely petrified at the thought of jumping off the bridge. Devastating, highly destructive or damaging. Damaging, detrimental, fatal. It will be a devastating blow to the local workers if the factory closes. Dubious, uncertain feelings or doubt about something. Wavering, tentative, equivocal. The government regulatory body was accused of dubious accounting practices. Coherent, logical and well organized, easy to understand. Understandable, logical, reasonable. Many students appeared hardly capable of conducting coherent writing. Heartfelt, very strongly felt, or extremely sincere. Earnest, wholehearted, deepest, Please accept my heartfelt thanks now for your sincerity and your generosity. Egotistical. Thinking you are more important than others. Pompous. Narcissistic. Selfish. My brother is very egotistical and thinks he is by far the best baseball player. Perplexed. Something is difficult to understand or solve. Confused. Puzzled. Baffled. The sudden ups and downs of the share market have left analysts perplexed. Outstanding. Much better than usual, excellent. Distinguished. Superb. Brilliant. His outstanding performances set a new benchmark for athletes throughout the world. Luxurious. Extremely comfortable, or elegant in manner. Sumptuous. Grandiose. Opulent. Our honeymoon was 3 days in Las Vegas at a luxurious hotel called Le Mirage. Authoritarian. Controlling everything and forcing people to obey. Tyrannical. Arbitrary. Domineering. In many nations, an increasingly authoritarian bureaucracy was gaining strength. Dramatic. Causing great interest or excitement. Striking. Thrilling. Suspenseful. Environmentalists are alarmed by the dramatic increase in plastic pollution. Destitute. Essentially means not having something. Deprived. Impoverished. Insolvent. Taxpayers must pay health insurance premiums for the elderly and destitute. Mind-blowing. Extremely impressive, or surprising. Breathtaking. Fabulous. Sublime. The astronauts had mind-blowing views of planet Earth from the spaceship. Explicit. leaving no room for confusion or doubt. Definite. Straightforward. Exact. The government has been quite explicit about education reformation. Gorgeous. Strikingly beautiful, or magnificent. Attractive. Bewitching. Lovely. There is no denying the fact that this particular landscape looks absolutely gorgeous. Frivolous. Not having any serious purpose or value. Insignificant. Trivial. Inconsiderable. My mother every so often spends her monthly pension on frivolous purchases. Appalling. Very unpleasant and shocking. Shocking. Horrendous. Offensive. We witnessed some appalling acts of barbarism in the Russian-Ukraine war. Thrilled. Feeling intense pleasurable excitement. Fascinated. Captivated. Beguiled. The newly released movie has thrilled audiences throughout the country. Eloquent. Fluent, or persuasive in speaking or writing. Persuasive. Expressive. Fervent. The interventions were made by the politically more skilled and eloquent participants. Enchanting. To attract and hold the attention of something. Alluring. Bewitching. Mesmerizing. It is an enchanting cathedral that is filled with ancient architecture and art. Grotesque. Odd, or unnatural in shape and appearance. Distorted. Ill-shaped. Malformed. It is perhaps the most grotesque and repulsive art ever exhibited in the museum. Gloomy. Having or showing a lack of hope. Darkened. Despondent. Miserable. The weather forecast for the coming week is rather gloomy and pessimistic. Pensive. Quietly sad, or thoughtful. Solemn. Sorrowful. Doleful. After the accident, she became pensive, hardly speaking to anyone. Insatiable. Incapable of being satisfied or appeased. Unquenchable. Desiring. Pressing. The public has an insatiable appetite for stories about myths and legends. Pungent. Having a sharply strong taste or smell. Pervasive. Acerbic. Bitter. She is a prolific writer and capable of writing pungent, funny dialogue. Elaborate. To do with great care, or with much detail. Detailed. Complicated. Thorough. We shall not elaborate on it any further, since much has already been said about this. Cumbersome. Large, heavy, and therefore difficult to use. Weighty. Burdensome. Onerous. The authority promised to eliminate cumbersome and unnecessary bureaucracy. Preposterous. Extremely unreasonable and foolish. Nonsensical. Absurd. Unreasonable. Selling dead insects was a preposterous idea, and no one took it seriously. Mischievous. Enjoying, or having fun by causing trouble. Troublesome. Naughty. Misbehaving. The teachers warned us not to engage in mischievous behavior in the classroom. Stunning. Very attractive, impressive. Gorgeous. Radiant. Fabulous. Inside the cave, she found a stunning pair of gold and ruby drop earrings. Remarkable. Worthy of note and attention. Outstanding. Incredible. Notable. The soldiers showed remarkable patience and endurance throughout the battle. Old-fashioned. No longer modern or fashionable. Antiquated. Obsolete. Outdated. Old-fashioned ideas are being replaced with emerging trends and cultures. Outrageous. Highly unusual or unconventional. Ostentatious. Flamboyant. Flashy. The story contains several outrageous slurs against the former president. Plausible. Reasonable and likely to be true. Possible. Convincing. Feasible. Sometimes strongly contrasting hypotheses can seem equally plausible. Zealous. Full of energy, effort, and enthusiasm. Vehement. Ardent. Committed. Her zealous attitude made her a winner in overcoming every obstacle in life. Sarcastic. Using remarks that clearly mean the opposite. Sneering. Belittling. Acrimonious. They differ profoundly on many issues, but they have never been sarcastic to each other. Mournful. Feeling or expressing sorrow or grief. Melancholy. Dejected. Sorrowful. The mournful sounds emerging from the funeral made everyone very sad indeed. Sparkling. Shining brightly with points of flashing. Glittering. Shimmering. Twinkling. The sparkling stars are the best part of the night sky when there are no clouds. Indifferent. Showing or feeling no interest. Apathetic. Heedless. Careless. Young people are becoming increasingly indifferent toward politics and religion. Impressionable. Easily influenced by other people. Susceptible. Malleable. Gullible. The new policy has been implemented to protect young and impressionable viewers. Empathetic. The ability to sense other people's feelings. Compassionate. Caring. Responsive. Doctors need to be both clinically competent and empathetic toward their patients. Hilarious. Amusing and causing a lot of laughter. Humorous. Comical. Entertaining. Their new comedy show features hilarious sketches and a host of top celebrity guests. Vindictive. Having a tendency to seek revenge. Spiteful. Vengeful. Malevolent. My aunt is a vindictive woman who once burned all my uncle's clothes. Ominous. A feeling that something bad is going to happen. Inauspicious. Menacing. Sinister. Because of the ominous music, we knew something bad was about to happen. Pompous. Excessively elevated or ornate. Showy. Exaggerated. Bombastic. He was to some extent pompous and had a high opinion of his own capabilities. Far-fetched. Difficult to believe and unlikely to be true. Unrealistic. Unlikely. Questionable. The alien story published in the newspaper seems to be far-fetched and unreal. Witty. Using words in a clever and funny way. Humorous. Fanciful. Sharp-witted. She made jokes at the teachers and had witty comments that were a little saucy. Reasonable. Behaving in a sensible and fair way. Adequate. Satisfactory. Decent. The beauty company sells a wide range of cosmetics at a very reasonable price. Absurd. Ridiculous, or completely unreasonable. Foolish, irrational, laughable. It is absurd to cut taxes without offering another way to raise money. Sanguine, positive and hoping for good things. Optimistic, upbeat, promising. Although the economy is looking better, we should not be too sanguine about the future.